G'day, I'm Ash and welcome back to War Thunder. In this episode, we take a look at, well, the evolution of War Thunder and its post-boycott analysis. Now, War Thunder is a popular online multiplayer vehicle combat game developed by Gauge Entertainment, and it's faced its fair share of challenges and controversies over the years. But in June of this year, the game experienced a notable boycott, and the repercussions of which have since been a topic of interest for players and industry observers alike. And in today's video, we'll delve into the post-boycott landscape of War Thunder, assessing its current state and exploring whether the game has managed to overcome the challenges posed by the boycott. Now, to understand the impact of the boycott, it's essential to examine the reasons behind whether or not it was related to perceived issues with gameplay mechanics in game purchases or other concerns, as the boycott likely had and did have a substantial effect on the player base and the game's overall reputation. But before we get into the main meat and potatoes, essentially, I'd like you to like, comment, and subscribe. Help me out, and we can basically past 70,000 subscribers. That's the goal for the end of the year. Anyway, if you want to support the channel even further, there is a link to my decal, and you can get 3% off anything in War Thunder. Anyway, back to the content. Now, boycotts themselves can often lead to a decline in active users, negative reviews, and tarnished public image. However, the active user base currently has been, well, in the 200,000 range. And as such, the only thing that really happened was a bunch of negative reviews were published on Steam and thus tarnished the public image that way. What resulted was 113,000 negative reviews on Steam over a period of a week as, well, the player base wasn't really happy with the changes Gauge was making. What initially sparked this was a series of economic disastrous changes which caused the player base to basically turn on the game instantly and, well, basically for what had happened. Essentially, well, it related to perceived issues with gameplay mechanics. Essentially, the recovery efforts were as follows. The developers of online games tend to respond to player feedback, and a boycott can serve as a wake-up call. And Gauge Entertainment basically removed the Steam logo from their website, and then issued a severe apology and also introduced a public roadmap with gameplay mechanics and addressing concerns about, well, improving the game and communications with the player and community. We've since had 3 major updates, and the player base seems to have forgotten what actually occurred. On 14th of June, we had 47 new vehicles, including the French Navy. And then in September, we had 49 vehicles, including Hungarian tanks and a bunch of other jets. And then in 31st of October, which is the current update, we had 28 new vehicles. And we're also looking at a new update even so. Gauge Entertainment also put out a roadmap in which they detailed what the steps they were going to take in order to, well, quell the players' concerns and help out just create a more positive environment. L'Oreal introduced, well, more location changes, removal of strike UAVs up to higher battle ratings, various other changes including removal of night battles, and other progression updates and silver lion mechanic changes, which allowed you to actually earn silver lions for the first time in a very, very long time. Essentially, they allowed for a skill bonus. If you get a couple of kills, you get a bunch of bonus research points, and you get some extra silver lions, allowing for progression to be that little bit more easy. There was a bunch of other changes, including destructible 3D decorators and the ability to accept an apology for a team kill. But they also were promising a condensed a version of tech trees by grouping vehicles and decreasing required research points. Now, they did mostly update most of these things, and they did also research and have a reduction of purchase costs for rank 6 and 7 aircraft, and a revision of the naval progression as well. But we're still yet to see the 4th update of the year in October, improved target hit alert for aircraft battles, the keeping the progress of daily login reward in PC by collecting daily rewards in War Thunder Mobile, and, well, research bonuses for new nation players with top tier vehicles of another nation. Sadly, the last update to the public roadmap was the 19th of September 2023. They haven't addressed the rest of the roadmap, and they haven't said they'd completed it. Instead, what we got was on the 22nd of November, the audacity for Galjan to say, hey, submit this game towards the nominators for the Labour of Love for the Steam Awards 2023. And there was a lot of mixed opinions thrown around about, yes, the fact that Galjan does deserve to have a Labour of Love category, but considering in the same year that the most amount of turmoil has happened, was just almost gaslighting the community. Now, the players' reaction to the boycott was essentially to start up something called the War Thunder Player Union. And it was set up in the very early days to try and get a list of demands and requests towards Galjan Entertainment for them to, well, improve, and basically a list of demands that the player base wanted to change. What ended up by being a simple list of changes that they demanded became a wish list to change the whole entire game. And between small inserts of drama and various other things, and power grips and various different things, the boycott never really achieved much other than just to try and support the players trying to change the game's economy for a good way. What ended up by happening was there was a specific date that players were not supposed to log into the game, and it ended up by having about 20,000 more players on when the boycott was supposed to happen, despite people saying they wouldn't log on. Now, a bunch of other content creators also got involved with this player union, and also, you know, through their support. And early on, I then realized that, well, because my support was needed, I threw my hat in the ring. But I've eventually realized it was pointless running in circles trying to do this errand, because, well, Galjan's just going to continue developing the game that they love and the way that they want to develop it rather than the community's input. And what was funny out of the May 26th Don't Play the Game was that, well, there was no effects or quantifiable, at least publicly available data, aside from the Steam player counts, that showed no visible drop in players at all-time high, while the union members held out hope that a strike would have had an impact. Everything failed. But since then, we've had a resurgence in player count, and there has been an immense amount of feedback and people interested in the game. The community seems to be fairly substantially intact despite the events of earlier this year. And, well, community events and tournaments are back in the competitive scene via the esports thing, and we've also got another major update coming down the road. So it does seem like, for the most part, the community is over what happened in May/June. In assessing War Thunder's post-boycott status, it's essential to consider a combination of factors, including player feedback, the developer responsiveness, and community engagement and technical improvements and adjustments to what the game had actually done. By analysing those elements, one can gain insight into whether the game has actually successfully navigated the challenges posed by the boycott, and whether or not it's better off in December of this year. Ultimately, the resilience and adaptability of Galjan Entertainment in addressing player concerns has played a pivotal role in shaping the game's success, and thus, I think that, well, those memories and echoes of past are still in full effect. What do you think? Do you think that War Thunder has improved drastically, or do you feel that the game is still the same? Ultimately, in 2024, the game will have to step up its reputation, as we're getting things like F-15s and bloody Su-27s and various other high-tier aircraft, as well as new premium tanks and various other changes. The game's going to have to expand and adapt and evolve, and hopefully they implement and finalize the changes that are left over from the roadmap. So guys, what do you think of War Thunder? Has it improved? Or are you still playing it? And if so, what do you think will probably be the outcome? Because ultimately, Galjan has to improve for 2024, and with the likes of what possibly might be coming in the new major updates, new shiny stuff and new additions is always Galjan's strong suit to interest a new growing player base. Thanks for watching, catch you in the next one.